Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. This review covers the re-release of the Revell 1984 Cadillac Lowrider in 1/25 scale. This kit's been produced in a few different forms and box arts, and Revell lists it as kit number 85-4438 in the current catalog. It's available online and in hobby shops, and they call it a skill level 5 kit for advanced builders. It requires glue and paint and has some intricate decals. There's 110 parts molded in white, chrome, and clear. It includes vinyl tires, screws, metal pins, and axles. The build is pretty straightforward and specific, with no additional parts for variations or wheel choices. You get what comes in the ride height and grille choice in the kit, and that's it. The motor looks nice built, but it's simplistic. The chassis is nicely detailed and looks good assembled. The interior is well detailed and includes an opening trunk with speakers and batteries. The body is straight and has nice sharp detail, and the moldings are easy to trim and foil. Decals are water slide, and they're included in purple trim. You get the typical book format instruction sheet that Revell is known for, and when you're finished, the overall dimensions are 9 inches long by 3.5 inches wide and 2 1/8 inches high. Here's the layout of this kit, and it's my version of the open box review. Now, I could pick up every part and sprue and try and find some words to describe it, but that won't really help you build the kit, will it? So here's my open box review in 10 seconds or less. Now, here are the decals for this kit. As you can see, the color is good and the registry is very good. It only comes in purple though, so make sure that your color matches if you plan to use these decals. Now, just so that you know, we use Model Master clear, cement for clear parts, and we also use the Model Master liquid cement for most of the build. Occasionally, we'll use super glue for strength or white glue for clear parts, but we'll let you know that. Also, please follow the manufacturer's safety and use guidelines when using any of the products that you see here in the review. Gather the parts to start the engine for this build, and we're going to assemble the block, the heads, the oil pan, and the water pump, and then paint the motor orange with an aluminum transmission. The oil filter is blue and the starter is black and gold with an aluminum fuel pump. Now the carb is gold, and paint the exhaust manifolds a steel color. The fan is black and aluminum, and the belt is rubber and black. Now the distributor is black, as is the AC unit. Now assemble the parts onto the motor. You get an option of 2 front suspensions with this kit. The chrome one is the raised suspension, and the white one is either stock or lowered. I used the white one for the lowered suspension, as seen on the box art, and that's for the tire set that comes with the kit. So pull these parts out of the box and paint the chassis after you remove the copyright script there, and then flat black color and gloss black frame rails. The fuel tank is steel colored, and the paint so paint the suspension and install that and the motor. Put that into place. The exhaust is steel with an aluminum muffler and a 50-50 mix of gold and copper for the catalytic converters. Now we'll work on the tires and the wheels, and to give the tires a used look, I press and roll the tread on a sheet of fine sandpaper, about 220 grit. Now insert the white wall into the tire, and the pin is inserted into the rim. Insert the gold wire inserts into the rim, and then add the spinner. The tire can go black wall or white wall. Just slide the rim into the tire now, either way. Now press the metal pin into the upper or lower hole depending on which ride height you want on the front suspension. Get these parts out of the kit and assemble the radiator and paint it flat black with a rubber colored hose. Then install the radiator and the hose. Gather these parts to pick the ride height for your rear suspension and install the appropriate springs, either the regular or lowered, onto the axle and paint the axle gloss black. then install the axle onto the chassis. Paint the shocks your favorite brand's color. I used yellow, then add the shocks into place. Now the rear tires are built pretty much like the front tires, the same sequence, except that there's a metal axle that slides through the hole there in the chassis, and then you press that into place into one rim. Then you slide the metal axle through there to reach the other side and press the other rim onto it and squeeze them together. Now you'll have a rolling chassis with some pretty good looking wheels to start the rest of the build. The interior can be painted in steps for best effect, so get those parts out from the kit. And I painted the seats white with a purple carpet and the engine bay and the underfloor flat black. Then add the decals and details to the seats and the door panels at this time, and do all the detail work in this area before moving on to the next step. I wanted to add some extra detail to this kit, so I decided to flock the floor pan with some craft flocking. You can buy this at online hobby shops or in craft stores sometimes. So you just use a little bit of white glue, put it on the floor where you want the carpeting, and then you sprinkle the carpeting flocking there onto the glue by shaking it through a sieve, and then that makes sure there's no lumps. Just pack it down a little bit, and there you have it, carpeted car. Now you can assemble the interior seats, the speaker panel, the batteries, the base tube, and the door panels, and add the firewall as well. Moving on to the dashboard, we're going to paint and detail that at this time. So I used a decal from the kit and added a radio decal from my stash, but you can find an image online and print it out on a piece of plain paper. Just cover it up with a piece of cellophane tape and glue that on with some white glue. Then, after that's done, install the dash into the interior. So get this final part here. It's the support brace for the engine bay. So I painted that with some chrome paint. Now we'll gather these parts to start the body prep for painting, and wet sand all the parts and check for blemishes and mold lines and sand those smooth. Because this is a dark colored car with a light colored roof, I decided to paint the roof first and tape it off. That way it would be easier to paint the white over a lighter color. I sprayed the parts with a good black primer inside and out, and then went back over it with some fine sandpaper and looked for any defects that needed to be touched up. Now I cleaned the parts up again with some light detergent and water and a toothbrush, and then let her air dry. And once it was completely dry, I mixed up some special paint. It's called Chrome Illusion paint, and it comes from an automotive source like DuPont. So I wanted a special, illusion to this that's promised by the paint, and you can see it in the smaller car even at that scale. But a good metallic purple would work just as well. Anyway, I used the base color, which is a red purple to gold yellow color shifting paint, and sprayed that on and got ready for the details, the trim, and the decals prior to the clear coat. I applied some foil to the chrome trim on the car body, and it's pretty easy to use, really. The thing you have to remember is to make sure that it adheres well. You just cut a strip off of the foil, apply it to where the trim is like tape, and then you kind of burnish it down and trim it off with a very sharp hobby knife. Make sure that your blades are new and that it's not pulling any of the tape. And you can do a pretty nice looking job of highlighting your kit with that. On to the decals. You're going to find that there are some pretty tricky decals in this kit. The longer ones are difficult to apply properly, so use plenty of warm water. Make sure that you soak them well for at least a minute before you try to remove them from the backing paper. Another trick that you really should use is what we call decal setting solutions, and they're available from online hobby supplies and hobby shops as well. Apply that on before and after you position your decal, then smooth it out and get any of the air bubbles out of it, and then once that's done, let them set overnight and clear coat your body to seal them into place. So get the window glass and the mirror out of the box there, and I used what's called a window tint for my windows. It's an Alclad product called Smoke, and just a couple of light coats on the inside. Make sure you tape off the outside to prevent any overspray from getting on there. And then once that is dry, put your mirror into the window and then install the glass with some white glue or clear parts cement. I wanted to customize my car to personalize it somewhat, and so I printed out my logo on some clear or some white paper with an inkjet color printer, and then covered it up with some gloss tape and cut it out to trim to fit the opening there for the license plate, and applied those on. So get these parts out for the bright work, and you choose the custom or stock grill, and I paint the grill with a 50-50 black wash with thinner, and then install the grill and paint the blinker part of the headlight lens clear orange, and install the lenses to the headlights and then the headlights into the car. Now the bumper pads, and the plate go on to the front end, and then add the ornament and the hood. Locate these parts and then paint the brake lights clear red and install them into the bumper. Add the rear bumper and the pad to the car, and then add the backup lights and the tag to the car. Now install the trunk with the ornament. Now the side panels are all placed along with the lower chrome panels, and then add the door handles and the mirrors. Now cut off all the long pins that the parts are attached with and just locate them into position. Now we'll move to install the interior, and the chassis is slid into place, and note that the yellow arrow here has the tabs that are under the front panel. Now the screw hole is also at where the red arrows are. So once the chassis is slid into place, you'll be able to turn that over and make sure that there's a good fit for the engine bay here, and also that the trunk and everything is in the proper position and there's no interference. There's just a few parts left over here that were included in the kit but belonged to a different version that had a hydraulic suspension. Well, there you have it. The fit and finish has always been good on this kit, and it still is. And the overall build is not too difficult. I think that it's good and pretty easy to assemble. The parts fit well, and there's really very little in the way of flash, just the minor seams that you'd normally find, and Revell's done a good job of keeping up the molds on this one. Overall, the car has some good points to it, but there's still simple details on the motor. However, the interior was excellent with all the separate panels because it made detailing very easy. Overall, the body is still pretty nice, and the separate parts make detail painting there a breeze. Now, the decals are one thing that could be nicer if they'd give you at least one more color choice, maybe even a white set of pinstripes. But nonetheless, it's a great looking kit, and wow, the guy that drives this thing around doesn't pay taxes, so grab one and put one on your shelf. Well, there you have it. We hope you liked the step-by-step premium model review, and so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can find us on Facebook or at our website, www.rightonreplicas.com. Thanks!